Our first presenter for the day is known as the father of rural marketing in India. He has authored the most definitive rural marketing book for students and practitioners alike. He has been marketing advisor to Ministry of Rural Development and has served on Prime Minister Office and Chief Minister's Committees on Rural Development. He is also a consultant for the World Bank and United Nations. In 1993, he started his own organization, which has emerged as India's leading rural consultancy organization. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome on stage our first speaker for today, founder of MART, Mr. Pradeep Kashyap. A warm welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, and a very good morning to all of you. I am delighted to be here to talk about rural India. You know, whenever we talk about the India growth story, the implication always is that it is the urban India growth story. You know, the $1.1 trillion economy growing at 8%, 9%. But most of us have never looked at rural India. And this visual actually to me depicts urban India as the outer layer, and that's what most of us see, and we don't see the treasure inside, which is rural India, and that's really the bullseye. If you can hit the bullseye, you can actually see a lot of rewards for yourself. I'll just quickly give you some facts so that we can set the context. You know, India lives in its villages, 70% people in about 600 and odd thousand villages, which is more than 500,000 villages, some with populations even as small as 200, going up to about 5,000. Lo and behold, they account for already 60%. Lo and behold, they account for already 60% of consumer goods sales. So it is the single largest market in India. It is much bigger than the urban market in terms of consumption. Even if you look at durables, this is just a representative example of television sets, but you can take category after category. Now the growth is really coming from the rural sector. If I were to take just consumer goods for last year, the growth in rural India was 3 times higher than the growth in urban India. It was a solid 21% against only 7% in rural. Similarly, with the rapid improvement in the road infrastructure in rural India, the number of two-wheelers that are selling today in rural India has gone up sharply. If you talk to Hero Honda, they'll tell you that now 50% of their sales comes from rural India. So you can see how rural India is catching up very rapidly. And the interesting thing is that the ownership of durables in rural India is very low right now. It's just about 4 per family versus about 10 per family in urban India. So there is a lot of possibility of catching up, and therefore there is a lot of unmet demand there. Similarly, in the rural India already accounts for a bigger income than urban India. So how can we afford to ignore the biggest share of income in the Indian sector? And it accounts to the marketeer. It's, I think, more important to look at the expenditure. It accounts for a much higher proportion of the expenditure. The reason being that income levels are much lower in rural India, and therefore the potential to save is much less, and they end up spending much more. And the savings rate is much lower compared to urban, which is about 40%, and here it's only about 30-odd%. Let's now cut to the year 2020, because all of us as investors would be looking at the future and not at the past. So what does the future hold for rural India? Rural India is already a $500 billion economy. Right? Out of the $1 trillion Indian economy, rural India accounts for 50% or more of the economy. This is expected to grow if you take an average 8% GDP growth rate, it will double and become a $1 trillion economy by the year 2020, by which time it will become a bigger economy than Canada or South Korea is today. So you can imagine the size and the potential of this market, because we all look at Canada as a developed country, as a part of the North American alignment, but rural India alone will account for that much. And just to give you a statistics, that 12.2% of the world's population lives in rural India. It is, in terms of population, it is the single largest market segment in the world. "65% of Indians will continue to live in villages even in the year 2020. So as Mahatma Gandhi said many years back that India lives in its villages, I say today that India will continue to live in its villages. So therefore, we need not worry at all that the rural market will shrink. The rural market actually will continue to show very robust growth. Let's now look at rural India in a little more detail. So I put it into 4 segments: infrastructure, occupations, incomes, and consumption. If you look at the infrastructure, already 80% of the villages are now connected by all-weather metal road. Right? It took us 50 years to connect 50% of our villages by road. In the next 10 years, we've connected another 30%. And the good thing is that these 80% villages account for 90% of the rural population, but more importantly, they account for 95% of rural wealth. As an investor or as a marketeer, these 80% villages account for all the wealth that you have in rural India. Therefore, you can now access the whole of rural India through these 80% villages. We all know that telecom is a huge success story in India, but not many of us know that it is a much bigger success story in rural India. Till 5 years back, the tele-density in rural India was 0.5%. In a 5-year span, it has gone up from 5% to 21%, which is a 4,200% increase. And this is expected to go up to 50%, because right now we have 175 million connections in rural India, which means technically, on an average, every family in rural India now owns a mobile phone already, because there are 175 million families that live in rural India, and that's the total number of mobile connections. By 2012, this is expected to go up to 440 million connections, which would make the penetration at 50%. And 440 million connections is more than what the US would have, or any developed country would have for that matter. Almost all 100% villages are electrified, but all rural homes are not electrified. So this figure is already 60%, and this 60% again accounts for about 75% of the rural wealth. So even when we are talking about the sale of durables, and the concern is that there is no electric connection, the fact of the matter is that these 60% of homes are in the larger villages, and they account for 75% of wealth. So therefore, the purchasing power is really with these 60%. Rural literacy has been going up much faster than urban. If I take between the 91 and 2001 census, then rural literacy went up by 30%, whereas urban literacy went up only by 10%. And that's happened between 2001 and 2010 again now. So we are already at 70%, and it is hoped that by the year 2020, this will be close to 100%. And now with the Right to Education bill having been passed, every rural child has a right to free education up to the age of 14. Therefore, we hope that by that year, almost everybody would be literate, and therefore, the income levels would now start rising much faster in rural India. The number of Kisan credit cards that have been issued through NABARD and the nationalized banks is more than all the credit and debit cards that you and I hold in urban India, throughout urban India. And these credit cards are a line of credit to the farmer, not only for his input purchases for agriculture, but 20% of the loan limit can be used to buy any non-agri input. So if my credit limit, say, is 100,000 rupees, then I can use 20,000 rupees out of that for buying a color television set or any other product. And this is one of the reasons which is driving demand for durables in rural India, because this money has come in the hands of the poor, of the farmer more particularly, because it is a credit card for the farmer. So every farmer today in India, marginal, small, medium, large, without exception, already has a Kisan credit card. So he already has a line of credit. Even the smallest farmer has it. So my vision of rural India is this picture. On the left side, left of my left, it shows the old rural India, an old woman who's, selling goods by using local weighing stuff, and people going around in bullock carts and people doing manual agriculture. Whereas this girl on the right side, she even has her eyebrows threaded, she's wearing very good earrings, so she's really representing the modern rural sector. And we will see, the influx of some organized retail stores, dish television, DTH, computers, a whole lot of modern things that we see right now in urban India will also start happening in rural India. So that's the story.